Oh, we have a heavy haul. A guy is moving an excavator, K-Whopper T800, coming up on the left. Red truck, step deck trailer. No, RGN with an extra bucket. Oh wow, that's some unusual RGN because he has a huge tailgate. Wow, you don't see that. I never saw a trailer like this. Normally, yeah, you have a tailgate, you know, but it's unusual on the step deck. This guy put it on a RGN. Okay, let's get a closer look. Once this guy passes me, Peterbilt hopper. Come on, Freightliner, you can do it. 110. Son of a gun, this guy is in my way now. Whole guy is moving pretty good. Yeah, I better back up from this guy because see what happened. I have a new crack. I was driving like this and it was a dump truck. I was just briefly trying to pass somebody, but he was so slow that I got close and I saw a rock flying. I even winced because I thought it was gonna crack the windshield. I don't want to get too close to this guy. Alright, he's moving back. Коксу, давай, Серега, давай! Давай, родимый! Okay, where is it? Oh, holy moly, he's like in the front. Lane now. I bet he'll go back to the grandma lane. No? Check this out. He has a huge plate in the back that he can put down to load or unload equipment. So 3 axles in the back, 3 on the truck, and his front axle is pretty, like the tires look pretty big. That's a cool unit. Okay, let's see what's the... See, the scale is open. That's why this guy slowed down. Oh wow, he has a chain on the bucket. You don't see that every day. Most local guys, they don't care about tying down appliances, but this guy... Actually, I know this trailer. This is like one of those California trailers because it has a super wide neck in the front. it's a K-Whopper, yeah, T800. That's what I said, right? And the excavator is 160G John Deere. So 160G, that's not a very big one. That's why he only has 6 axles. But I can see that he moved the machine all the way to the back, because the front of the tracks actually already sitting on the incline towards the rear part of the trailer, so he moved it away from the truck because it's still heavy. Wow, those trucks ahead of him are moving really slow. Come on. Go, go, go. I'm flashing my lights at him, but he doesn't seem to pay attention. Maybe he doesn't want to move because an exit for 201 is coming up for the ring road. Probably he goes on the ring road. Well, you don't want to take advantage of people's kindness. Oh, it's a rental company, Viking Rentals. Very windy today. Alright, and this Hopa guy has a trouble climbing this hill. He's at like 85 kilometers an hour. And I knew it. He was trying to go in front of me. What's going on here? It's probably very heavy. The guy on the right is doing 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles per hour. Probably on the phone. He has a headset on his head. He doesn't care. The speed limit is 110. He's 30 kilometers under the speed limit. Alright, that's it. Lost a chair. Good thing it's not a sofa. Then somebody really could have gotten hurt. Well, today will be an interesting day. So it's Thursday, February 26, 2026. So my first delivery is I preloaded a 19-footer scissor lift, our smallest one, Genie. Well, we also have zero turn, which is even smaller, but this is like typical Genie scissor lift. And it's just an address and a unit number. And I put it in Google. It says a bunch of businesses at this address. One of them is Wendy's. Wendy's is you know, fast food restaurant. So, and it's like 6:50 a.m. I'm ready to leave. And so I called the number on the paperwork, and some lady answers in a sleepy voice, and I realized right away that I woke her up. So I said, I'm sorry, this is equipment rental company calling. I'm delivering a...
Your route avoids a road closure on Blackfoot Trip. Exit the parking lot towards Stonegate Landing Northwest.
I'm delivering a scissor lift to this address. And I said, is this Wendy's? She says no, and I'm gonna change the name. She says it's called Rocket Produce, Rocket Transport. It's called Rocket Produce. I said okay, and then she sends me a listing for Google, you know, like a picture screenshot from Google Maps, and I see the name says a Rocket Processing. So it's not produce, it's processing. Wait a second, where did you go? All right. And so I head over there. Oh, and she sent me a phone number. And there's like 50 doors and a bunch of trucks loading, you know, refrigerated trucks. And so I don't see a shipping receiving door. So I thought, you know what? Instead of walking for half an hour trying to find the proper door, I'm just gonna call that phone number. So I call the phone number. To my surprise, the guy answers, and the name on the phone on the screen says Sunshine, what was it? Sunshine Produce, let's just say, you know. Instead of a Rocket Processing, it says Sunshine Produce. And then I asked the guy which door I should go to, explained to him I'm delivering it for the refrigeration guys, and he says, okay, hold on, can I put you on hold? And he puts me on hold and then comes back. He says, door 18, 1-8. I said, door 18, yes sir, thank you so much. So I go to 1-8, you know, so I don't have to walk anywhere. I back to door 1-8, and as soon as I back to it, you know, I'm getting ready to take my chains off. I see the door slides open. A guy comes out, and I ask him, I said, can I ask you a question? Is this Sunshine or is it a Rocket? And he said, well, it's the same. He says the actual company is Rocket Produce, but it's part of the Sunshine Group. Never mind. Okay, so this is, at least this is the right place, right? For the refrigeration guys. And of course, because this is produce, a produce company, they need, you know, freezers, everything is frozen. And so makes sense that our customer who rented this machine is a refrigeration company. But anyway, we found the door opened without me stepping out of the cab. I call that a success in my book. So mission number 2, I look at the paperwork. The address is some weird street name that I cannot even pronounce, but then above it, it says CP Rail. Holy moly. You know what CP Rail is? So it's a rail yard, which is probably a size of 15 football fields, right? So I call the phone number on the paperwork, and again, a guy answers in a sleepy voice, but it's like 7:05. I don't know, like I wake up at 5:45, but I guess some people are lucky, they can sleep longer. I wish I could do that. So anyway, I said, hey, this is the equipment rental company, sorry to bother you so early. I said, I assume it's a rail yard and I did not deliver this. Could you help me out with some tips, or where do I find the machine? And he says, well, I gave all that info to the lady in dispatch. I'm surprised nothing is on the paperwork. And so I didn't say anything because I don't see anything. I'm not allowed to argue with customers. I said, I'm sorry. No, I kept my mouth shut. I just listened. And then he says, but okay, you just follow that road, you know, the address you have, follow that road, and it goes like this on the map all the way to the end, and there'll be a bunch of buildings, and the machine is parked somewhere between building 4 and building 5. And it says, if you reach a tunnel, you've gone too far. And that's why I'm recording this, because this is gonna be an adventure. First off, I have to find the machine on this huge property, and hopefully we're gonna see lots of locomotives, lots of engines. You know, my childhood dream was to be a locomotive engineer, or, you know, driver, I don't know, operator, to drive those trains. And yeah, I remember me and my brother, back then we were still talking. So I'm 15, he's 6 or 7, and I put him on the a rough seat. You know, it's like no cushion, nothing. It's basically, it's like a baggage rack. You know, like on a bicycle, on the rear wheel, right above the rear wheel, there's a metal framework with little clasp where you can put a bag or something, right? And quite often people put kids in there, but imagine you're sitting on metal. So I'm sitting in the front, so I'm 15, I'm pedaling my Ukraine single speed all steel bike, and Sasha, Alex is in the back there holding, you know, actually he was holding the saddle, because there's like 2 springs in there, so you can hold them, but you gotta be careful, because if I'm jumping, then those springs will compress, and if your hands are in there, you can get injured. But anyway, I remember we rode the bike, I think 3-4 kilometers to our main railway station in Kirovograd, and there was a trick that you can go on the overpass. You know, like there was a way to get to the main Vokzal, you know, the railway building where people were waiting for trains, or railroad as they say in American. But there was an overpass, and you can stand there, nobody says anything, and you can watch how they build trains, because besides this being a passenger station, it was also an actual technical, you know, rail yard. And we were watching those teplavozy, you know, those diesel powered engines move trains, and there was, of course, there was like a little hill where they would push the cars one way, and then the switch will send them to the proper line. There's like 10 lines or something, so it was fun. But once we crossed to the actual side there, to the platform, and a cop arrested us. He says, you're not allowed to have a bike here. And we were not, I don't remember if we rode the bike or we just were walking. I think I rode the bike, you know, I was trying to get out. And the cop saw us, took the bike. He says, send your dad over here. Basically, I'll give him a lecture, and then he can claim the bike. And so I had to tell my dad, and of course, you know, he gave us a lecture, but no beating. Just, he was not too happy, so now he has to drive to the station to pick up the bike. And then how do you, oh, I think he had to take the bus. Yeah, so he had to take the bus and then ride the bike back, because we didn't have bike racks back in the day. You know, if he drives in a car, because we had this Moskvich, super powerful 72 horsepower vehicle, 4-speed manual, rear wheel drive, man, that thing was flying. Top speed 140 clicks an hour, which is what, 85 miles per hour. How do I know? Because once in a while my late dad would say that we need to do this in order for the engine to properly function. And so once in a blue moon he would just find a spot where there's no cops, and he would push the throttle to the floor and let it rip and see how fast it can go. And I remember it was like, you know, like 120, 122, 124. Like, this thing took forever, but I think, I don't even think we were able to reach 140. That was in the manual, and the manual says top speed 140 kilometers an hour. I think the max we did was like 135, and then the dad got scared because everything is flying, you know, at 135 in a Moskvich, everything is flying besides you. Like, the speed seemed like you're in a spaceship, and we're like, you know, 135 kilometers an hour, and I'm a kid sitting in the passenger seat. Of course, we all strapped in, but man, those were the times. I remember I I loved driving these cars, and my dad would teach me. We would go to some backwood roads, you know. He would let, I was like 15 or 16, and he would let me drive and teach me how to drive a car. You know, those fond memories I have of my childhood. And so ever since I was a teenager, I wanted to do this. I don't know, I just fell in love, and now I'm 64 and I'm still driving. And this is probably the longest job or like activity I've been doing, because normally, you know, when I was in my 20s, I would change jobs like every 3 months. I just got bored, you know, real easy, and I didn't drive a truck for a job. What, we're going here? Okay, hold on, let me turn on the speaker. I think it wants me to go on 32nd Avenue. Why are we going here? Holy moly. No, because of the traffic. See, there's a lot of traffic there. Okay, let's go here. See, like, that's what the bus is doing. Well, let's see if anybody lets us in. Well, if not, we're gonna push them over gently, without contact. Well, if you don't let me in, I'm gonna stop in the middle of the road. And that's how I do it. Now this place is fascinating here, you know. They were not here a year ago, and then all of a sudden, so this is Deerfoot South and 32nd Avenue, right? Then all of a sudden we have like 1 million pipes of different sizes, different diameters, and I see there's a Volvo truck over there. A guy is walking around, his load is covered with a tarp, and here somebody hit somebody. Oh wow. Man, and the girl, did you see that? The girl is holding hands like this, so the pickup truck hit her in the bumper. That would be pretty scary, because the pickup truck, of course, is much heavier, and her bumper is hanging loose. That's the start of the morning you don't want. Yeah, you see, so they have all kinds of pipes, but then also over there they have bundles of something that looks like plywood or drywall or something, but huge property, huge. And there's a, so here we have Deerfoot, right, and over there on the other side you cannot see it, but there's a railway line in the dip in there. Yeah, you see, that's why it's sending me this way. So interesting, you know. And I see sometimes like a huge forklift loading these pipes on trucks over here as I pass. Interesting, you know, to watch. And these forklift guys, man, I remember how much trouble they were causing. You know, not so much with the, you know, I don't care, I did not care when I had the RGN trailers, but because they're so much lower, right? Yeah, you see, so that's the property, that's the railway line. I mean, the property with those pipes and stuff. So yeah, I did not have any issues with forklift operators when I had the RGNs, because they're so much lower, right? So the forklift would be much higher. And RGNs are much stronger than typical flatbed step deck, and usually they don't even have a rub rail, right? But the problem when you have a step deck or flatbed, it's right, you know, like chest level. And so these guys would, let's say they load you with some skids or something, right? They would always bump the rail. And I remember I confronted one guy. I was loading something somewhere in Hamilton, I think, Hamilton, Ontario, And
In 300 meters.
I'm watching this guy. He's, oh man, no, he was unloading me. I had some skids with some metal or something. You know, like regular size skids, you know, what are they, 4x4, you know, 5x5. And this old guy in a forklift, and each time he comes to the trailer,
Right, turn left onto 36th Avenue Northeast.
he hits it, you know? And, you know, like, boom. And it's a heavy machine, right? So I waited. He took one skid, boom. Two skids, boom. Now, a third time, I said, I'm sorry, sir. Would you mind not hitting my trailer? So, excuse me? You don't like what I'm doing? You are on my property here. You don't like what I'm doing? You'll have to get off the property. Go talk to the manager. If you don't like, man. He got so angry, you know, like, hey, you know, you're freaking hitting my trailer. It's my own trailer. So I said, I have one trailer, sir. I cannot afford to bend the rails like this. So basically, when I was doing step deck flatbed, I hated these forklift guys. And then, of course, if you remember, when I bought my 3-axle step deck, that first trip, I had to Alberta,
At the light, turn left onto Edmonton.
and a forklift guy bent the rub rail, and we could not find who did it. Oh, it's not me. And then I had, on the way back, I had the scrap metal load, which created like 3 holes in the aluminum floor of this brand new trailer. Man. So yeah. And I asked this guy to return back to the rail yard story. This sleepy guy who I woke, who explained to me where the machine was. I asked him, I said, on the paperwork it says that your manager will call us back with a key location. Because, you know, quite often when they leave the machine, they hide the key somewhere so that nobody steals it. And he told me where he put the key. So he was the guy who operated the machine. So he told me where he put the key, what side of the machine, where exactly. So I'll try to find it. But yeah, here, you see, that's what I like about this driving thing. Like a friend of mine was saying, maybe you can talk to your manager, you know, when you get older, if you don't want to do this physical work all the time, maybe you can ask them, you know, to be a dispatcher or just work in the office somewhere. Like, I cannot do that, you know, sit in one spot for 8 hours a day or 9 hours a day, 7 to 4. And like here, you know, you watch people, you know, you see some accidents happen, you know, it's exciting. You see, like, I saw the pickup truck hit the car. Of course I'm kidding, but I mean, something is happening, you're driving, it's kind of like you're watching a movie, right? Like, except I'm sitting, instead of sitting in a chair and watching some moving pictures, I'm moving in a chair and I see some static pictures, right? So I'm moving past some static pictures, you know? And then, of course, you know, one cool thing is that when you're driving, it's one of those jobs where you can actually listen to, let's say, audiobooks, you can listen to news, you can listen to radio, to music, you know. Not every job is like that. For example, if I was a dispatcher at this equipment rental company, I would not be able to listen to music or news or whatever, or record video. So you see, this is a hands-free operation, right? I'm working. Uh-oh, suicidal. Somebody is suicidal. But it is a legitimate pedestrian crossing, so you're okay. I forgive you. By the way, did you know that any intersection is a potential pedestrian crossing, even when there's no markings on the pavement? I did not know that until like a year ago. Some guys were crossing in the middle of the road, and I stopped. I was in my car. I stopped and I said, hey, there's no pedestrian crossing here. Because, you know, they were just walking, cars had to stop for them, and it's like this, you know. And the guy says, And the guy was holding the kid's hand, and he said, when was the last time you checked, you know, the rules of the road? You see the sidewalk here? We allowed to cross here. I'm like, holy moly, I've been driving for like 50 years, you know, almost. Feels like. So I went to the internet, and sure enough, it says, yeah, any intersection is a potential pedestrian crossing. So you have to yield to people that walk in the middle of the road. So you're not allowed to hit them. That's the main point. Because, you know, sometimes like on the news we hear somebody was trying to cross an interstate, you know, like a freeway, and somebody didn't have enough time to stop, and they hit him, and then of course the person, let's say, injured or dies, and then they say the charges were not filed against the driver because the guy or gal was jaywalking. All right, how far am I going here? A riverfront. A riverfront. Okay, I'm 11.2. See, I put that here. I was not lazy. I climb on the top, and I put the measuring tape from that's my highest point. There's a exhaust pipe on the right side, and so that's my height. 11 feet 2 inches, much lower than a regular semi-truck. But why I'm mentioning that is because the riverfront, from what I remember, if I'm going left, which what Google Maps wants me to do, there's a very low bridge in there. Like even in a truck like this, 11.2 from the ground to the tip of the exhaust, I'm not gonna make it. And there's a light. And once I was actually I was loaded. And the machine, of course, is taller, like a scissor lift. And I thought I should be okay, but then I'm coming, all of a sudden, all kinds of lights start flashing. Over height truck, over height, go here, detour, like holy moly. Like it was, I don't know, 10 lights, you know, all flashing. so I had to detour. So we'll see which way it's sending me. Yeah, okay, so it's after the river, so I'm pretty sure I'll have to detour that, but it's easy. Yeah, I don't think I can go there under 5 Avenue, so we'll just go right to the first street, and then what is this, 5th Avenue. But anyway, I know my way around downtown, so hopefully we'll be able to find that railway rail yard and find building 4 or 5 and try to stay away from the tunnel. Ugh, scary. Yeah, lots of traffic today, probably because of that accident on Deerfoot. Everybody tries to to detour. The gas price jumped up in the recent couple of days, $31.9, so $32. Just 3 days ago it was $25. But then actually somewhere in the south, I was driving yesterday, I saw $11 still. Like, uh-oh. Are we okay? Yeah, prices are always higher north of 16th Avenue. And especially my area near the airport. Which reminds me, I think in the Jeep my range to empty is like 75 kilometers. I did Uber yesterday, probably had what, 2 passengers. One was $15, one was $5, and the one that was $5, I see it says childcare, and I'm holy moly, so there's gonna be somebody with kids. So a lady comes out with 2 small children, and they open their, I'm in the parking lot, right? They open the right door, and they all start climbing in, and then of course kids slide over the, you know, over that hump in the back there, which is all fabric and it's not covered, and they have these dirty boots. And I say, excuse me, would you mind using the both doors? So there's a door on this side as well. And they look at me, and the woman says, okay, and they proceed to climb through the single door. It drives me nuts, because kids, I don't know, kids, of course, they don't want to run around the car, especially without their mother, but we're inside a parking lot, right? It's not even like there's no traffic, so they all like to crowd inside and then slide all over the place. And so of course when I drop them off, oh, actually when I was dropping them off, the woman told the one kid over here who was sitting behind me, she said, climb out of that door. Huh? Yeah, open that door, get out. And then of course I look, I parked the car after I drove them off. Just two people, and I cleaned the mats before I started. So just after two people, all the mats are dirty. There's a bunch of dirt on the, you know, at the door, under the door there, where they always hit it with their feet because nobody can lift their feet to get out. And of course there's dirt on that fabric. So now I'm thinking, tomorrow is my payday. So I'm gonna go to Canadian Tire and I'm gonna buy some kind of a mat, maybe like this, so I can put it over that middle section, because it's all fabric and people always slide over, you know, and they leave dirt marks. And I'm gonna find like a longer piece so I can put it over and then put the regular floor mats that are on each side on top of that. Yeah, I need some more rubber in the back there. But yeah, I always try to keep my nice looking GMC Sierra. Looks like brand new. Check out how much traffic we have. We're like 300 meters away from the intersection with Memorial. It's +1. Yesterday we got up to +7, I think. Almost 50F. Oh, actually, wait a second. I take back what I just said. Now it says 0 because I'm guessing we're going into the hole. Like this woman is crossing. Okay, go ahead, you have my permission, you are authorized to cross. A Mercedes in the front, C300. You don't see too many German cars here. Well, probably Volkswagen is the most popular, and then you see Audi over there. But it's funny how I remember in Russia they really stood out. By the way, there's another Mercedes over there, an SUV, white one. But I remember in Russia these German cars stood out, you know, back in the 90s when I was in Moscow. Like especially BMW, like 300 series was like the dream of every entrepreneur, you know. Everybody wanted to have a Beamer. And I remember I was showing an office space to an American guy and his driver, and they had a BMW, you know, 300 series. So I'm, you know, back then actually quite often Americans or whatever, like expats coming to Russia, they brought their own cars, but they didn't want to drive inside Moscow, so they would hire a Russian driver, or another option was popular, they would hire people with cars. So I'm guessing they paid no taxes, nothing. It was kind of like a private limo service, but they would have like regular cars, and they would hire you and you just drive them around in your own car. So I don't know if that Beamer was the property of the driver or the property of the American businessman, but I remember the driver was, you know, Russian, and I asked him, because this was my first time in a Beamer, and I said, it was like a 4-door sedan, you know. I said, what's the top speed of this thing? And this guy says, I have not found out yet. He says, you push gas, it goes as fast as you want. So he says, from what I've seen, there's no maximum. I'm like, come on. But here, you know, when you see a Beamer here, they look just like the other another car. They don't stand out. Or like a Mercedes. And I remember when I was in towing, when I drove a tow truck in Toronto, we towed a lot of BMWs. Like this was 99, 2000, like super expensive, like 7 Series, you know, BMW. And they had lots of issues with electronics. Sorry, they were just shut down. I remember I was in Etobicoke, west side of Toronto. Picked up this, they sent me to pick up this Beamer 7 Series. Beautiful Polish lady comes out, and I ask her, where did you get this $100,000 car, you know? Well, not in that, but you know, I was polite. I was just said, I'm just curious. Like, I'm working, you know, 12 hours a day, but I said, there's no way for me to get a car like this. Like, how did you get it? I said, how would I be able to get it? And she says, well, I don't know. I got it from my boyfriend. And basically it died. It was like 2 months old, and she comes out, doesn't want to start. Brand new car. So I loaded on my same truck like this, tilt deck, you know, 5-ton, and I took it to a BMW dealership. And I remember another car we were always towing, so that I knew that I would never buy one, was a Nissan Altima. That's the one. Because I remember, to me it was funny how the model is A-L-T-I-M-A, Altima, but everybody was saying Ultima. Okay, 17, like, you know, we had unit numbers. 7, and we had a radio. 17. Go ahead. Yeah, here's the address. Go there, pick up a Nissan Altima, take it to a Nissan dealership on Queensway South in Etobicoke. I still remember names of the streets. See, like over here, Centex, $18.9. So $19. Over there it was $32. So we just drove 3 kilometers, probably. And this is the memorial, and over there there's a Bow River after that bridge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cannot turn there, but we'll see. Well, I'm gonna turn left, and there's a detour there. It'll tell me. 11.2. "11 feet 2 inches 2 meters."
11 feet is equivalent to 3.353 meters.
3.35 meters. 3.35 meters. Because the signs, sometimes they just use metric only. But I'm so used to feet and pounds ever since I was a trucker, right? So I have to translate back to metric, which is funny since I grew up in Russia with metric. Okay, so we're in the left lane. That's good.
In 200 meters, turn left onto Riverfront Avenue Southeast.
So this is called Reconciliation Bridge. I see here it's 4.2 meters, and then it says 13 feet 10 inches.
Turn left onto Riverfront Avenue Southeast.
What did I say? I'm 3.35, right? Okay. 3.35. And this building here, that's a rehab center. That's why there's all these homeless people here.
400 meters, turn right toward 5th Street Southeast.
Okay, 3.9 meters. Oh, we good. So the first one is 4.9. You see, only meters, no feet. I knew it. So this one is 4.9, and all of a sudden they lose a meter. And that the second bridge, 3.9. But we should be good. Oh, I didn't even scratch the tip of my exhaust pipe. See, it pays to check. Look at this guy. Holy moly. It's -1. He's in a t-shirt and shorts. Unbelievable. Morsh. Club Marge in Russian. It's that's what we call the people in Russia. It was very popular, you know, they swim in the ice water and they call them morsh, like the animal, the sea animal. I forgot the name in English, but it looks like a dolphin, but it's different. It lives in the north. Yeah, see, here it's clear. It's a marked pedestrian crossing, so of course I have to let them go. So yeah, man, this thing is sending me all over the place. Of course, ideal, I should have just stayed on Deerfoot Trail all the way to 17th Avenue, but now you get to see downtown, and this is like a This is a residential area with a bunch of high-rises here. I'm guessing where rich folks live. And then if you want drugs, you go here. Corner drugstore. No, I'm joking. That's a pharmacy. Now over there it says I cannot go left. That's not good. So we're gonna go here.
Turn left onto 9th Avenue Southeast.
Request
Head
then.
towards 6th Street Southeast. In 100 meters, turn left onto 6th Street Southeast.
Oh shit.
Turn left onto 6th Street Southeast, then turn left onto 7th Avenue Southeast.
Same thing here. No access to 9th Avenue. What the? Interesting. Man.
Turn left onto 7th Avenue Southeast, then turn left onto 5th Street Southeast.
Yeah, but there's no turn there. Like, that's where I just came from. So I'll have to go further west. I cannot turn here. See, no left turn.
Turn left onto 5th Street Southeast, then turn right to stay on
Oh yeah,
5th
because
Street
this is
Southeast.
one way. So basically I came from there and I went here, but there's no left turn in there, so we're gonna go this way. And there's a nice red no entry sign at the top.
Head
So
toward Riverfront Lane.
so here you can only go
Turn
left
onto 4th
or
Street
right.
Southeast. At the light, turn left onto 4th Street Southeast,
So-
then turn left onto 9th Avenue Southeast.
So this is 4th Street. So hopefully over there it's open. Yeah, it should be open because there's a set of lights. See, I'm smart. Even though I'm a truck driver. And you see, that's where all the transit LRT, that's LRT over there. So you cannot drive in there. Well, I see there's a van on the right, but I guess when you have a permit, if you're doing some work in there or at the nearby buildings, you can go in there. So these guys make good money, no? Like transit operators. It would be cool to drive a streetcar, as they call it, or LRT. No lights, they have their own dedicated road, you know? It's pretty cool. See these homeless. Like, where do they get the money to buy coffee, you know?
Turn left onto 9th Avenue Southeast.
All these guys are homeless. They just walk around in circles in downtown. Now imagine this kind of weather, like more homeless people. These guys over here.
Continue on 9th Avenue Southeast for 3 kilometers.
No, maybe not the first guy, but these two in the back definitely, because they have backpacks. But actually one guy has a phone. Huh. Probably stole it from somebody. Man, I'll have to explain to my dispatch why it's taking me 2 hours to reach my destination, but there's an accident. Oh, check this out. So you see the engine going this way, because that's where the rail yard is. So we're gonna follow the trail, the train, and we are still, holy, 3.8 clicks away. 2.5 miles. That must have been a huge accident over there. And the bridge again is marked in meters only over there, 4.5 meters.
Head toward 11th Avenue Southeast. Continue on 9th Avenue Southeast.
Did you see this guy? He was trying to turn. Oh, he was trying to turn from the parking lot. Yeah, so that's where I was. I think, yeah, I was here. Of course you cannot turn here because the road is blocked. So what are they doing over here? This is narrow. Now I imagine driving here, I wouldn't be able to drive here with a tractor trailer. You know why? Because the road turns and the wheels of the trailer would definitely hit these yellow markers. Okay, we did it. So now we have to change lanes because the right lane is exit only. Ask me how I know. And this is a beautiful bridge. And from here there's a great view of downtown if you look backwards. And this is, we're crossing a river. And there's lots of pathways. So if you go there you can park your car on one of the side streets. And there's some beautiful, you know, walkways and bike lanes right next to the river. So this is 9th Avenue, former Atlantic, I think it's called. Used to be called Atlantic. So back in the day in Calgary, all streets had their own names, like no numbers. And then for some reason they decided to switch to the kind of like New York system, you know, where there's avenues and streets and it's all numbers. And so now I'm guessing for tourists in like places like this where there's a lot of pedestrian traffic, there's lots of restaurants here, they put, yeah, like over there it says 9th Avenue Southeast and then it says formerly Atlantic Avenue. So they use that as a marketing trick. Atlantic Avenue. So what was wrong with that name? Why would you change it to 9th Avenue, which is totally, you know, flavorless? All right, now we have to avoid these manhole covers. Speed limit is 25 miles per hour, 40 clicks an hour. We're doing 32. Now further down, I know there's a school zone, and sometimes there's a camera car sits there, but I don't see that car now. But yeah, this yellow sign on the right says 30 kilometers an hour, 7:30 to 2100. And what's the time now? 8:07. So yeah, now it's in effect. And playground zone. Yeah, everybody was passing this guy on the right, but this lane, the sign says a right turn only, so technically you're not supposed to go in there. See, they do it in this area, they do it everywhere. Like on the top there's a blue sign, says 15th Street Southeast, formerly Pina Street, P-H-I-N-A, Pina. Now that's not a very attractive name, so I would definitely change it. So 15th Street sounds better. But this one, and over there's a sign that says 9th Avenue, 17th Avenue, which is like, this is a crazy intersection. Look at this, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that one is blocked, and it's super complex. So now these guys have a green light. We're all sitting. Man, this takes forever. All right, so now we have a green light. I just trust that Google Maps knows the way, because I thought I was turning here, but it looks like we're going to, I don't know what it, okay, 4.5 meters, 14 feet 10 inches. We are good. And
in 300 meters, turn right onto 20th Street Southeast.
okay. Crazy, but I didn't expect anything less, because it's a railway yard in the middle of the city, pretty much next to downtown.
Turn right onto 24th Avenue Southeast.
Okay. Are you sure about this? okay, so that's that crazy name. What is it called? Alyth? A-L-Y-T-H. Oh, actually, I remember that one. I dropped off some passengers. I was doing Uber.
Turn left onto Alberta Road Southeast.
Alyth Road. Oh yeah, I was here before. We are next to the railway line.
In 300 meters, your destination will be on the right.
Well, it's all industrial. Oh, okay, so this is it. See, these are railway wheels, and we have numbers 2, 3, beautiful. And those are the engines over there. Yeah, there's the depot. Oh, okay, cool. I'm on the proper place. And it said 3, 4, so 3. And I see over there far in the distance there's like a police car. And like this guy says, if you went as far as the tunnel, you're in the wrong place. So here's 3, building 3, and that's building 4. Oh, lots of engines on the right there. So now I'm just looking to see where our blue machine is. Oh wow, look at that. Canadian Pacific. Police pickup truck blocked the road. Four. Okay, so where's 5? Yeah, tunnel. Watch for traffic exiting tunnel. So okay, so I definitely don't want to go in there. So it should be somewhere here. Oh, I see it. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. I see a blue machine there between the trucks. Alright, cool. We found it. Oh, this one says CPKC. That one says Kansas City Southern. I always wonder how Kansas City Southern can be in Canada. Now check this out. So lots of, what are these trucks? Oh, and they all have railway wheels. Probably weigh like a ton, you know. And that's a blue machine. Oh, wait a second. So it's a RT scissor. Oh, I thought I was picking up a regular scissor. Genie. Oh, that's the one. It's Genie GS3369RT. Oh wow, I love these. These are much more interesting to load than regular ones. Found the key. The guy did not lie. Wow, look at this. So CPKC is hooked up to Kansas City Southern. Well, let's get this show on the road. We have ignition. the scissor lift. 3-point contact always. Okay, now we just put 2 chains on and we're good to go. Well, the monster is loaded. So this only weighs, it looks big, but it only weighs about 6,500 pounds. So do not need to use 4 chains, just 2 chains, 2 binders. Well, my service phone is slowly dying here. Kept giving me messages about messages about the low battery. Well, on the way back it's going to be much faster because there's no accident going north, only south. But yeah, this is really interesting. Actually there's a what's it called, no, not 17th Avenue, a boat trail. When you take a boat trail like 17th Avenue exit off the Deerfoot, and then you take boat trail going southwest, you go over the like a bridge or overpass and you see all this. I'm always curious about these huge locomotives. Alright, it's already daylight. I can turn off my parking lights. So let's get back to civilization.
26th Avenue Southeast.
Well, yeah, I can only go left here. There's a cop is still blocking the tunnel there for some reason.
Continue for 800 meters.
Oh wow, he's leaving now. Okay. He's leaving, but he left all the pylons. Interesting. Man, they have so many locomotives here. Like, I don't know, hundreds. Couple of times I was doing Uber. I brought a guy to a gym, and the gym sits right next to this railway line in the middle of nowhere, like all industrial zone, and I'm guessing they bought the building or something, like totally industrial area. All of a sudden you see a gym. And the Uber wanted me to go, you know, it was like a wrong place, and this guy says, no, stay on this road, go straight. Uber always messes up here because it's all industrial.
In 200 meters, turn right onto Blackfoot Trail Southeast.
Yeah, see, oh sorry, not boat trail, Blackfoot Trail. When you take that 17th Avenue and then it turns into Blackfoot Trail and you go over the overpass, that's when you see all these
Turn right onto Blackfoot Trail Southeast.
railroad vehicles. Yeah, here we go, Blackfoot Trail. Yeah, over there, that's the overpass I was talking about. So it goes over the railway lines, and there's a cop sitting there, by the way.
600 meters, continue straight onto 17th
And I pointed my
Southeast.
finger at him, but he didn't say anything, so we're good. I'm guessing he's watching for people to stop on the red light. He should arrest these people. That's illegal in Calgary. But he doesn't care. He's probably drinking coffee, eating some donuts. Yeah, no U-turns at the lights in Calgary. Now look at the traffic on the opposite side. Crazy. And to the left here, here's my favorite park. Pierce Park.
17th Avenue Southeast.
We can go and do some serious cycling. I wanted to do something this Sunday because the weather has been, these past few days has been really nice. See, like now, okay, it's -1 now. But I checked the weather for Sunday, it says -12. So I don't have any gloves for the bike, but it goes here next to the river. There's a pathway that I took in the summer, 25 clicks south, but it's been a while since I rode the bike, so I don't think I can do 25 clicks one way, like 50 kilometers total.
In 500 meters,
But
use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto the Alberta 2 North.
I could definitely do 10 kilometers one way. So I was thinking this Sunday to go maybe from this park, instead of riding south, I could go north and then ride through downtown. Man, what's going on? Look at this. There's freaking potholes everywhere. Oh, there's another one, big one over here. Like, look at the traffic. Holy. Like. So yeah, that's Deerfoot. So we're just taking the ramp to Deerfoot North to go towards the airport. Sorry, sometimes, you know, this camera, once I was checking, like I thought I knew the angle by heart, like what angle to angle down the camera at, but one of the last videos I found that it was showing too much of a steering wheel, you know, like pointing too much to the ground. But I think we should be good. I'm using Super View, so Super View shows you a lot of up and down. Wow.
In 600 meters, merge onto Alberta 2 North.
And recently I've been using Google Maps more often than Apple Maps, because Google Maps shows you your speed, whereas Apple Maps doesn't. You know, most of the spots, Google Maps, at least here in Calgary, it'll show me the speed limit. Sometimes it's inaccurate, and then it would show me my speed, you know, which is helpful, because not always the speedometer is correct. Well, on this truck actually it's pretty good, but our pickup trucks, the speedometer is about 5 kilometers slower. So you're doing 105, the speedometer shows 100. It's getting hot. This lane exits at Airport Trail. So I need this one. Number 3 from the left. So yesterday I dropped off that lady with 2 kids with dirty boots near 16th Avenue over here. Was sitting there for half an hour, nothing. So I just drove back home and had a quick bite to eat, and I started again the Uber. I think it's like 6:10, 6:15, and I waited 20 minutes. Nothing. No offers. And I just shut down the app, and I started working on the movie, that video I uploaded about my trip to Banff. And it got really good views. I think it's close to 1 million in less than a day, so thank you guys very much. I hope this one gets 2 million, because you see the railroad. I know there's a lot of railroad fans out there. Okay, so this is the 32nd Avenue. You see how quick it is? So this is the exit I took on the way down because of the accident. Look, it's like 5 minutes, but it took me probably half an hour to go through all the lights to get to that depot through backwood roads. Oh, the last trip yesterday was interesting. So my dispatch gives me a sheet of paper, you know, the pickup slip. It shows one skid steer with a tooth bucket and 3 buggies. And buggies are these little articulated machines. They have like handlebars like a bicycle, and they have, you know, like a bucket, and they have a little gas engine. I'm guessing what they call a 2-stroke, and you start that engine with a pull string, and then this machine, you can load all the kind of dirt or whatever, gravel in the bucket, and you move it, right? So it's like a motorized buggy. And so the paperwork mentioned three of them, and they're not exactly small. And my dispatch says, well, it's probably too much for one truck for the Freightliner, but if you could pick up at least three things like the skid steer and 2 buggies, that would be great. So I go there. I find that it's a construction site. I find the buggies and the skid steer, and right away I came up with a plan. So instead of loading them like this, I loaded them like this, and so I managed to drive them up and then turn them like this. So I loaded them across the deck, 1, 2, 3. One of them was dead. We later found out it was out of gas, but I managed to stack them like that, you know, and then just put 3 strap over them, and then I'm loading the skid steer backwards with a bucket facing the rear of the truck, and then I see one of our drivers is walking towards me, and he came in a pickup truck, and he says, they sent me to get one of the buggies. I said, that's too late. I already loaded everything. Are you sure? I said, yeah. Oh, okay. And so I was able to move a lot of stuff on the that last trip, and then I unloaded. I preloaded this little scissor that I delivered like during my first trip, and now we have the RT scissor coming back. Dropped off the RT scissor. Next mission, they're sending me empty to Mount Royal University in the southwest Calgary. Pick up a super lift, which is typically done with a pickup truck with a tailgate. Well, just loaded that monstrosity super lift, and these are the forks that come with it. and I'm sitting at a university, Mount Royal University, and this is a Riddell Library Learning Center. And my GoPro ran out of juice, that's why it shut down. But the best feature of this Freightliner truck is the charger, and I think our economy is in trouble, because for every 8 girls I only see 2 guys. Like there's pretty young girls walking around like there's no tomorrow, and there's hardly any guys. You know, like, what's going on? Okay, I see one guy, then I saw this one, but still it's interesting that the majority of students are girls. Okay, let me check any messages here. Okay, yeah, because, you know, in a Freightliner I'm carrying the super lift, so it's weighs 103 pounds. Okay, let me just put home. No, we're not going like that, we're going on the bypass. Screw this. Anyways, see this girl? A blonde with a white coffee mug. I'm guessing 20 ounces. And they're all wearing some track pants. You know, it's funny. There's 2 more girls over there. One is wearing jeans and one is wearing, again, some baggy pants. I'm guessing students don't care about this. But actually, you know, I find, like, I have track pants under these ones, and these get really dirty, so I should, you know, now it's getting warmer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk to the shop supervisor and I'm gonna sign up for the free uniform. So I'm gonna look like one of those soldiers, because all our guys, like, I'm the only idiot who's using his own clothes, and everybody's laughing at me. Why would you want to use your own? Why would you want to make your own clothes dirty? Well, because I don't want to look like we are in a NATO military exercises, you know. But I had 2 pants like this, right? And these are actually expensive cargo pants, but they're like work pants. And then I had that incident with when the DF spit out on me. You know, I was pumping DF into the tank on this truck, and I did not realize that.
Make a U-turn, then turn right onto Richard Road Southwest.
I did not realize that the gun was super tight inside. Are we turning right?
At the light, turn right onto Richard Road Southwest.
And I did not realize that the gun was so, you know, like this, so tight inside the opening of the tank that it started building up pressure. And so when I took it out, all the DEF came on me. So my pants were wet, well, the jacket was not so bad. Wow, man, holy moly. Okay, so this one is your jacket, jeans, beautiful hair. So many pretty girls here. All right, I better get out of here before I get fired. Okay, green. Okay, sorry guys, gotta go. Got places to see, people to meet. And so yeah, I threw out those pants, so now I'm down to 1 pants, and they're getting extremely dirty, and washing them does not seem to help. And so yeah, and we have, you know, like 2 types of that uniform. It's basically, you know, like coveralls, where the top is like a shirt, But then I found out that we actually have those where there's no shirt, but it's just open, like straps, you know, like suspenders. So you can wear a t-shirt under that. And I think they give you either 2 or 3. I think maybe 2 or maybe 1. But I mean, they give you so many per week. And then, you know, the coverall service van shows up. They took all the dirty ones and they leave clean ones. And it's free. So except I'm gonna look like, it's all blue, like blue coveralls. I'm gonna look like a blue soldier, but you know, like, I think it's nice for the company, you know, where all guys are wearing, like all our other 2 drivers, they're all wearing these coveralls. But in winter, they're, I don't know, like I talked to other guys and they said, yeah, they're cold because it's just fabric. There's no insulation, and I was afraid that they're gonna be too hot in the summer, but then I found out that you can get these ones with suspenders and basically open top, you know, basically it's pretty good. So I'm gonna just wear a t-shirt with these open top coveralls. So I'm just waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit. I'm not washing these. And the big plans for the weekend, my Durango has been sitting probably for, I don't know, 3 weeks now, maybe 2 weeks. When I got it back on January 4th from the rental, and then I drove it. Yeah, I think I parked it at the end of January because I ran out of gas. And then I switched to the Jeep because, so Jeep gets roughly 10 liters per 100 kilometers, whereas the Durango does 15. So it's 50% more gas. But it's time to clean it up because it's dirty inside from the taxi work, from Uber. So tomorrow, Friday, my payday, so I'm gonna take it to the shelf, you know, the coin car wash, clean it out inside and out, wash the floor mats, and then I'll use it to do Uber during the weekend. And then Saturday, I'm working Saturday unless they tell me not to show up. And then Saturday night, I'm doing a photography gig. So I got hired for 3 hours to shoot a school reunion. But last time I talked to the lady was like a month ago. So I need to touch base with her tonight, to find out if we are still on for Saturday. And then Friday I have to make sure all my batteries are charged. I have 3 batteries, I think. I have 3 batteries for the Nikon, and the one now I have is Z5 or Z5. That's my early camera now. And then I have 2 batteries for the flash. And I'm gonna bring my 3 lenses. That's all I have now, but they're perfect because they're spaced. Like each other lens is pretty much double the focal distance of the previous one. So I have 20mm 1.8, 40mm f.2, and 85mm 1.8. Perfecto. That's all I need. Oh, heavy haul on the other side. The guy is moving screen on a 3-axle RGN. Okay, we better move left because this lane ends. Like I know all the highways now in Calgary. It's so cozy. I know beforehand which lane I have to go to. and I've been only here, what, this is my 4th year. So October 22, October 23, 24, 25. Yeah, this is my 4th year in Calgary. So that's west, the mountains where I was yesterday, shooting that blockbuster video. Thanks again for some amazing views to everybody. That video is breaking all kinds of records. It's amazing. Nobody ever seen anything like that. Actually, this is west. Yeah, because there's mountains are here. Because we're driving on a circle, right, on the ring road, and so this is the portion of the circle at the very bottom where we are going west briefly, and then we're gonna start turning north. And so yeah, tonight is the gym day. Going to the gym after work. And then Friday I might go and do just some light, you know, stamina work, because they have my gym has stationary bikes, and I can do like 15 minutes on that one, and then I can do 15 minutes on a rowing machine. I like that one. So that's tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm just gonna do 30 minutes stamina training. And checked my weight today, so finally it started going down. Was 186, now I'm at 185. Need to go below 180, or officially I'm overweight, unless I'm below 180. So like 180, 179, and I'm golden. Yeah, I gotta keep an eye on that super lift, because I only have one machine on the deck, so if I lose it, everybody will notice, you know. Unless well, the forks are in the cab, so if that one falls off, I still have the forks. They should count for something. But on a serious note, I got 2 straps on that one, and I also hooked up my winch to the front. So it's not going anywhere, unless we have some aliens descending on the highway and try to steal the super lift for their human experiments. I don't know. And why I want to use the Durango for Uber is because it's much bigger, and it qualifies as Uber XL, which pays sometimes 50% more than Uber X. And so if somebody has lots of luggage, or they have like a big family and they need 6 seats for passengers, I'm your guy. I'll probably get up early Saturday morning and do some Uber before work as well, because I like early mornings. And Saturday we start at 7:45 instead of 6:45, so I can squeeze in a couple of hours of Uber before work. And my ETA to yard is 10:30 a.m., which means that I'll only have 30 minutes before lunch. Uh-oh, we're being passed by a red K-Whopper. Like, they have these funny trailers here. Like a very short trailer, but it has 3 axles. Maybe like this apart, you know. But this way he has 7 axles, right? So 3 on the truck, 3 on the trailer. So I'm guessing he can do like 80,000 pounds in payload total. I don't know. Never tried this, by the way. Never tried. Wanted to try, but then, you know, I noticed that these guys, it's very boring because they do the same short route. Basically, you go to an excavator, it loads you, you drive over where you have supposed to dump this stuff, and usually it's very short. And it's the same route, so you do like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 trips a day. I would go nuts, you know. At least here with this job, I'm all over the place. Every trip is, you know, different. Uh-oh. I see flashing yellow lights. Slow truck. And there's a semi-truck behind him. And he notices him when he's like 20 meters away from the truck. So now he has to hit his brakes. Of course, now I have to go here because he's too slow. And we have a bunch of broken down trucks here. Oh yeah, it's a broken truck, and he left the trailer. So this guy was flashing. This guy waited for until the last moment to go into this lane. Somebody's not paying attention. All right, let's see if it's who I think it is. No, not an Indian guy. Maybe an Indian, but he has a baseball hat. Yeah, there's a couple of very steep hills here on 201, so you gotta watch for slow trucks, which I always do. But that guy had a mouthpiece on, like a headset for the phone, so he was probably on the phone. Basically, his eyes are open, but his brain does not process the information. Now here's another guy with flashing lights. I hope the container guy will see him in time. This one has double tankers, so that chemical stuff that I don't like. Never did this one either. A former friend of mine did this, and I don't know. You have to have special fire-resistant uniform, like special coveralls, which are pretty expensive, and you have to go through training, and they hold all kinds of bad stuff, you know, like poisonous, carcinogenic, I would say. But fuel, even though it's also a carcinogen, but I never did fuel. It would be nice to try, like, you know, a short trailer like this, but instead of these yeah, this is a tri-line. Instead of these hoppers kind of like things, I have like a couple of short tankers, tri-line carriers. He must be pretty heavy. Come on, tri-line, you can climb this one, maybe, without slowing down. This one has 3 axles on the truck, 3 in the middle and 2 in the back. So what is that? 3, 8. So this guy probably can do like 80, 90, 100,000 pounds in payload. I dropped off the super lift just back to a wash bay and tilted the deck and just lowered it with a winch. The guys were laughing. I said, hey, I don't want to push it again across the yard because it has wheels like this, like seriously, you know, and like every little crack this thing tries to tip over. They're difficult to move, and so the best way when they lie down like that. And so my hook was hooked up to the front, and I just tilted the deck and released the winch, and it slowly went down and right into the wash bay, which is next to where they service all the machines. And one of the guys was laughing like, man, Sergey, you kind of like lazy. I said, hey, it's not my fault that the wheels are 1 inch in diameter. But he grabbed it, and now I'm doing my last trip before lunch that I'm gonna show you, because we're probably into 2 hours already. I know this is gonna be a 2 million blockbuster, but I know some of you guys don't like watching long videos. So yeah, my time now is 11:06. Yeah, I'm heading to Airdrie, north of Calgary, to the citrus place where I delivered a Caesar. I think it was 2 days ago. Okay, we'll set it at 97 clicks an hour, so 60 miles an hour. And so it was either this or the other pickup was for frames, you know, scaffolding. But since I'm at the Freightliner, so I went to see my dispatcher, and I grabbed that piece of paper. I said, hey, is this what you want me to do? Am I going to Airdrie? He says, yeah. Cool. So I'm still in the Freightliner. And we'll probably grab a lunch either in Airdrie if I see some burger place or something, or in Calgary, close to a yard. But the interesting part about this is that I'm pretty sure the delivery is north of the scale. Like, quite often I go to this place, Rocky Mountain Equipment. They are a case dealer, so I bring our case skid steers for service here. And this is of course Cross Iron Mills, the large shopping center with the best place here to spend some time at is Bass Pro Shops, because they have guns. You know, they have guns, they have boats, they have all kinds of outdoor stuff, you know, like clothing. I don't think they have, I'm not sure if they have bikes, but I know for sure boats and guns. That's what I usually go there to look at, guns. And you know, but I don't buy ammo over there because the ammo is much more expensive than I buy all my ammo online from Ontario. Way cheaper. It's been a while since I went shooting, but maybe one of these coming weekends when the weather is above zero, I'm gonna go to public land to bring some targets, some, you know, jugs of pop or something like that, and just have some fun. My guy's moving some oversized stuff on a step deck, and the scale is open, of course. I see flashing lights 1 kilometer away. The most frustrating thing about this inspection station is that the speed limit is 10 kilometers an hour, which is what, 6 miles per hour? Sorry. So it takes forever to roll through it, and I'm empty, but I have to go in because my registered weight is more than 4,500 kgs. But I've been coming through this, you know, ever since I joined the company, so they usually don't stop us because it's a light truck. And the guy in front of me is pulling some kind of a double tanker deal. So if they stop somebody, they will stop him because he has 8 axles. So usually there will be something, you know, like brakes out of alignment, you know, defective tires, because he has 8 axles. So he has 7 times 2, 14. He has 16 wheels. I only have 6 wheels. So his chances are much worse than mine. You see, 10 kilometers an hour. And normally they have a sign that says empty, trucks go here, but here no, it says PIC, partners in compliance, members enjoy scale bypass privileges, but that's for everybody, I guess, if you have that membership. So over here there's nothing, but I see empty trucks go in this lane, but I'm empty, but I don't want to chance it, you know. See, they pulled somebody in, couple of trucks in there, one with an open hood, and the guy is doing an inspection. And then they have that shed. I'm pretty sure it would have a pit, you know, so if they're really in a bad mood, they can put you in that shed and inspect your truck from top to bottom. What am I doing here? 8 kilometers an hour, man. And it's open. It's very rare when this one is not open. So that's where the officers sit, in that little building with the flags. And then basically you roll by and you watch for those lights in there. Okay, let's not be speeding. 9 kilometers an hour, okay. But the good thing is that you don't have to stop before the scale. You know, some other scales they say stop before going on the scale. This one has nothing. And there's like 50 trucks behind me. And it says slow ahead, and the choices are stop, proceed, slow ahead, back up, park, and the last one is the worst. It says park, bring papers, and there's an arrow pointing that way. But usually everybody starts speeding up after this, because here they can still send you in there. See, it says slow ahead, and then once I pass this one I can speed up, because that's it. There's no 10 kilometer speed limit. I hate this one, man. And here it's a very long accelerating lane. You see, it's two solid lines, so you cannot cross here. So you have to wait till one of the lines is broken, like a strip. What they call them, stripper? Yeah, here I can go into this lane, and I'm driving for another 6 clicks. This is the sign for Airdrie on the right, the blue thing. The city of Airdrie, community and opportunity. I'm being chased by a Freightliner tow truck, same as mine. I'm not in a rush, so I'll be there at 11:10, and then it's time for lunch. Beautiful. Nice little town. Couple of guys that work at my company, they live here. But it's way further. It's at least 20 clicks from here to work. So let's say they do 20 one way, 20 another, 40. That's 25 miles, 40 kilometers every day. I only do 7 and 7. I only do 14 kilometers in a day if I don't do Uber. Lots of RV places here. Everybody in Alberta has an RV, except me. Oh, the Freightliner left. Oh, it went that way. Same type of tilt deck tow truck. See, the snow is all melted, but we still have something in the fields, and now it's +6. Which is what, 45F? Bunch of car dealers here. I went to yeah, there's GM. I came here to look at the that big SUV, Chevy, what is its name? Yeah, it's Chevy, and then there's Chrysler. Oh, there's a Subway here, there's a McDonald's, there's a Flying J, but Flying J is just a pump station. Like a fuel station, sorry. And here you'll see lots of trucks. See, because there's no signs prohibiting this, and so guys just park on the side of the road because there's a bunch of restaurants here, hotels. So that's where they spend their days when they wait for a load. Alright, where's my citrus place? I know I'm turning left somewhere at the next light after this one. There's a very big industrial area here. There's a Costco terminal here. A very big place with a security, you know, gated entrance. Okay, so I'm going here. Oh wow, check this out. Weston's, what is this? Peterbilt? No, K-Whopper. With a setback, like classic K-Whopper, but setback. No, it's not setback. No, but the hood seemed like kind of funny. It's like old truck. Here's the same type of Freightliner, except this one has a much bigger front axle and 2 axles in the back instead of one as my truck. I see a lumber place. Yeah, it's all big industrial area here. Lots of construction going on. Oh, here you gotta be careful, don't look left, because it's a municipal police building, so no eye contact with the cops. somewhere here.
Turn left onto Highland Park Green Northeast. In 300 meters, your destination will be on the left.
Yeah, I see my building. Just need to go into shipping receiving and ask them which door they want me to back to.
Your destination is on the left.
Truck entrance. Okay. I think last time I dropped it over here at door 1. Alright, let me go ask. The scissor is on the deck. I did not go into shipping receiving. Instead I went to that roll-up door where I dropped the machine a couple of days ago, and it was sitting right there, and some kind of a manager was walking by, and I said, hey, can you please open the door and pick up this machine? And he said, sure. And that's it. So I got it, drove it on. Because it was inside, I only drove a little bit on some wet stuff, but it did not hesitate. I did not have to use my winch, so just drove up, parked it on the very end of the bed because I don't have another pickup. So now we're just driving back, and I was thinking where to go for lunch, and check my email real quick. I see another offer from VOFA. If you remember, I tested a couple of their dash cams, and now I have one. I don't remember the name. I think it's their brand. In my Jeep I have a 2-channel dash cam, which is pretty good actually. It shoots, you know, the driver and possibly the passengers when you want to do it for safety, and then the road, and I can do picture in picture. And I only installed 2 cameras in the Jeep, but there's a third camera that I could have installed. It's still in the box, the one that faces to the rear, you know. But I don't use it all the time. I only use it when I make videos. But now my windshield is cracked on the Jeep, so sooner or later I'll have to replace that windshield. I still haven't checked my have not checked my insurance. I'm pretty sure I have windshield coverage, because typically, normally in Alberta, everybody does, since we have this, you know, these are small rocks they put on the pavement in winter, and so a lot of people get, if you like, I'm looking at the cars on the side, and lots of them have cracks in the windshield. But for now it's still okay. So, but you know what I'm thinking is that, you know, those dash cams, like, it's one thing you see like this, that's from my work. So this one has a suction cup, which is great. But the one in my Jeep, they use that sticky pad, you know, and so once you detach it, that's it. It loses its sticky qualities. And so I was thinking about this, that if I replace the windshield, what am I gonna do with the dash cam? Well, I would have probably to email or call the manufacturer and see, or actually probably Amazon. I could probably, I would have to buy extra pads on Amazon to reinstall that one. But these guys, basically what they're offering me this time, it's a truck. They said, we see that you, like, they're watching my videos. They said, we see that you're driving a truck and you tested the truck dash cam for us in the past, and now we have a new version of the unit I tested back in the day when I had my semi truck. I remember I had those, right? They're pretty good. I used them for video, for YouTube videos. I had them in my either Kenworth or Mac. It's the one that shows you, you know, your location, your speed, It's pretty nifty. I like them, like this Viofo, V-I-O-F-O. Not sure how to pronounce it. I say Viofo, but it's Chinese, of course, but pretty decent quality, decent. Oh, and this one, she says this new one, so it's an improved version of the old semi truck dashcam. Wow, check this out. Is that, what is that? That's not a Western Star. Western Star. That's a super old Western Star. Just like a flatbed truck. Normally you don't see trucks like that to be used for, you know, single axle type of deal, but that one is like probably from 70s. Man, I love these old trucks. See, on the way back I already know my road. I didn't even start my GPS because I know this road by heart now. See, the sign says Calgary, and here's the guy, Western Star Farm. Oh, so I'm guessing he's moving some hay or something, because he has those little special attachments or something in there. Yeah, farmers usually keep their trucks for a very, very long time. So whenever I go to a farm or I pass a farm on one of these range roads, I see super old, like international, you know, Ford from like 60s and 70s. Or we have a heavy haul. The guy is moving an excavator, K-Whopper T800, coming up on the left. Red truck, step deck trailer. No, RGN with an extra bucket. Oh wow, that's some unusual RGN, because he has a huge tailgate. Wow, you don't see that. I never saw a trailer like this. Normally, yeah, you have a tailgate, you know, but it's unusual on the step deck. This guy put it on a RGN. Okay, let's get a closer look. Once this guy passes me, Peterbilt hopper. Come on, Freightliner, you can do it. 110. Son of a gun, this guy is in my way now. Heavy haul guy is moving pretty good. Yeah, I better back up from this guy, because see what happened, I have a new crack. I was driving like this and it was a dump truck. I was just briefly trying to pass somebody, but he was so slow that I got close and I saw a rock flying. I even winced because I thought it was gonna crack the windshield. Yeah, I don't want to get too close to this guy. Alright, he's moving back. Коксу, давай, Серега, давай! Давай, родимый! Okay, where is it? Oh, holy moly, he's like in the front. he'll go back to the grandma lane. No? So check this out. He has a huge plate in the back that he can put down to load or unload equipment. So 3 axles in the back, 3 on the truck, and his front axle is pretty, like the tires look pretty big. That's a cool unit. Okay, let's see what's the... See, the scale is open. That's why this guy slowed down. Oh wow, he has a chain on the bucket. You don't see that every day. Most local guys, they don't care about tying down appliances, but this guy... Actually, I know this trailer. This is like one of those California trailers because it has a super wide neck in the front. And it's a K-Whopper, yeah, T800. That's what I said, right? And the excavator is 160G John Deere. So 160G, that's not a very big one. That's why he only has 6 axles. But I can see that he moved the machine all the way to the back because the front of the tracks actually already sitting on the incline towards the rear part of the trailer. So he moved it away from the truck because it's still heavy. Wow, those trucks ahead of him are moving really slow. Come on. Go, go, go. I'm flashing my lights at him, but he doesn't seem to pay attention. Maybe he doesn't want to move because an exit for 201 is coming up for the ring road. Probably he goes on the ring road. Well, you don't want to take advantage of people's kindness. Oh, it's a rental company, Viking Rentals. Very windy today. Alright, and this Hopper guy has a trouble climbing this hill. He's at like 85 kilometers an hour. And I knew it. He was trying to go in front of me. What's going on here? It's probably very heavy. The guy on the right is doing 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles per hour. Probably on the phone. He has a headset on his head. He doesn't care. The speed limit is 110. He's 30 kilometers under the speed limit. Alright, that's it. lost a chair. Good thing it's not a sofa. Then somebody really could have gotten hurt.